Welcome to the Creative Plan Podcast Network. Join us as we share our favorite RPGs, one-shot games, tabletop games, reviews of items, and convention panels, and other exciting things that we run into from time to time. Sit back and enjoy the show.
Hi, this is Kelly, aka Trixie from Ragnarok and Roll, a Sign to Ragnarok story, and to the Wimblewick from D&D Journey of the 5th Edition. First off, I would just like to say thank you to everyone for listening to our varied adventures, as well as for rating us on iTunes and RPGpodcast.com. If you haven't rated us yet, we would greatly appreciate it if you could. And if you're looking for more ways to support our efforts, we are now on Patreon, a great site where you can help us continue making more podcasts, as well as some special surprises for our patrons. If you can, please look us up at www.patreon.com/cppn. Every little bit helps. And again, thank you for listening.
Hey guys, Jim and Kelly here with Creative Plan Podcast Network. It is August the 26th.
Yes, it is.
It is. And you know what that brings about? That brings about strange days.
Yep, I'm feeling kind of strange.
It's we've got the hazy smoke from the California fires. We've got the monsoons coming in. It's the strange days of summer. So the word of the day, in case nobody's picked up, is strange.
Yep. Although I thought about it, it was like the first thing that I thought of was like how back in the day you were considered strange because you played D&D. You know, it was like you were a weirdo or something, and now geek is chic.
Culture has definitely changed.
Exactly. It's like, yep. So once what was considered strange is now considered cool and normal. Yay!
You know, if you get caught with your D&D books, you might be sent away to a special camp somewhere to be deprogrammed. And by deprogrammed, I mean actually programmed.
Yeah, you're like possessed. You were practicing Satanism.
Thankfully, I never had a problem with that with D&D. But, you know, the second I started playing Palladium, the first page has this big warning sticker on every page of Palladium Books games saying, you know, we do not support satanic or the cult and all that stuff. And people would like open the book face and they'd be like, I know the book is full of demon pictures and stuff.
See, I never had a problem with it when I was a kid. Although the guy who actually got us into gaming, I know his folks were not too fond, you know, when they, you know, got a little more aware of what we were doing. But of course, you know, that 60 Minutes video came out and screwed everything up for everybody. Damn you, 60 Minutes in your false news.
That and Mazes and Monsters.
Oh my God, Mazes and Monsters. Oh, talk about strange. I don't think Tom Hanks puts that on his resume. Oh my God.
But yes, I mean, that 60-minute special that the experts were not experts in anything that they claimed to be.
Oh, I know. It was ridiculous. And it created that scare.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
That did put the benchmark that if you played these games, you're strange. I mean,
it was the 80s that came out. Can't remember what year, but
it was like 82, 83, something like that. It was like really early in the 80s.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to stop talking about dates because, you know.
Okay.
I don't want
because that's just strange.
I know it's strange because I don't want to date myself.
So for me, I got two things I was going to bring up. One is basically like a shameless plug of something I'm interested in. But for strange, I'm going to go with always try to keep your players off balance by keeping things a little bit strange, you know, because GMs are allowed to fudge the rules sometimes because, you know, as long as you're consistent or it's got a really good plot device, feel free to, you know, be strange with the rules. Is try to keep your players off balance by throwing strange angles for different creatures and stuff at them, like the heroic orc, the noble warrior, or the evil elf. Play with the normal dynamic. Don't go straight at them. Take a strange angle to change things up.
Okay, making a note of that for future gaming with you.
What? You've seen me do that before. I mean, look
True.
when we did what was the group back in 3.5? We played with Dan with his orc.
Oh, his half-orc paladin, Caden.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the ranger.
Mm-hmm.
And Carrie was the dual-wield ranger.
Mm-hmm. That group. When we played that story with the orcs, we actually were playing strange orcs, because the orcs were not just your bandit orcs in the countryside. They had a strange plan that I wrote into it, that they were wanting Dan's character to join in and embrace his orcish, Gromish blood.
Yeah. But if I recall correctly, he was a paladin of Cord.
Yep. He was a paladin of Cord who was found as a foundling by a paladin who, instead of putting him to the sword, adopted him to see if nobility is not a genetic trait, but actually something that can be learned.
Yeah. Okay. I remember that.
Yeah.
And we had some really interesting adventures on that one.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the one with Mem Darwin too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We met at a caravan. We all got hired onto the caravan. I think that's how we met. Wasn't Duncan in that group? Duncan was in that group. Oh,
Duncan
yeah.
originally started as the fighter who punched people in the face when everything slowed down in the game.
I know. It was awesome because he defended me. Like, we were in this tavern. Somebody was giving me grief. I mean, just insulting me, And
total D-bag in the bar.
Without forewarning, no, I was a ranger. And without any warning, any he just decks the guy. And I'm like, yeah!
He just drops that D20 on the coffee table and says, I hit him in the face.
Oh, it was awesome. I loved it so much. It's like, this guy was being rude to me. And then, wham, out of nowhere, before he even finished, Duncan just lays him flat. I'm like, yay!
And see, there's another example of strange in that game in regards to strange new cities and environments, that the players aren't used to. Here you were thinking you were going to take out city guards, and you realized, oh crap, the city guards are like some of the toughest people in town.
I don't remember that.
Remember the guard you were wanting to kill?
Oh, no.
And I had to reiterate to you multiple times with multiple NPCs that don't start anything with that guy.
Yeah, no.
He'll pluck your wings off, and by wings I mean your arms.
Yeah.
Poison. You need to learn to be a rogue and be poisoning him.
Yeah, okay. That was, oh my God, that was a long time ago.
Uh-huh. But like good games, it comes back at a moment's notice.
So yeah, I think I have some of my original emails from that group. Strange that I have a tendency to keep things that sort of like journaled the adventure. I'll have to dig it out sometime.
And I have all of my emails because I just don't delete emails.
No, you don't.
So for strange is make sure to tweak things and make them a little strange, Describe things to your players in description instead of just saying it's a blank, Describe that weird, horse with a horn as an animal as opposed to just saying a unicorn. Mm-hmm. And then you go, no, it's not a unicorn. It's the Chinese unicorn, which is totally different.
It's a nar horse.
Yeah, there you go. Because you never know what folks call things, especially like if you go and you in the U.S., if you go to the South, when people have nicknames for things, you're like, what are we saying? And as soon as you see it, you know exactly what they're talking about. It's familiar. But when you start out calling it something weird, it's strange and terrifying, which can be fun.
like you were in that gaming convention, the UK gaming convention, and they were talking about, you kept saying trunk, and of course they're not familiar with the term, so they would say boot,
Mm-hmm.
which is strange to us because, but the trunk of a car is the boot, is a boot for them. So it's like, okay, that's just kind of strange, but
I still
all
thought
the
it
same
was
thing.
adorable in that one of here I have all these guys from the UK playing a game in New York, and their immediate thought is, I can get guns at 3 a.m. from the store. So, there's a strange environment. Here they are playing a wizard, a vampire, and it was also the demon. Yeah. And they're
Yeah,
like,
they want
we
to take
need
that 3-day wait
guns.
period.
So we need to go at 3 a.m. to a local gun store and buy a gun. And then I kind of, broke the fourth wall there and explained, here's what gun laws are actually like. I mean,
Although you can't get them illegally that way, I'm sure. I mean,
you
but
just
that's
need to go onto
interesting.
the freeway pass and find the guy with the trunk open.
Yeah, and then what they would call a boot sale. No, seriously, in the UK, they would kind of like a swap meet.
Mm-hmm.
They would do what they call boot sales, and I guess there's lots of people and they basically selling stuff out of the trunk of their car. So I guess it's a thing.
That's totally a thing.
Hmm.
So on to my shameless plug. When the word strange came up, I thought of only one real thing at the beginning of the month, and that would be Doctor Strange, which leads me to my next thought of, by the way, there's a new comic book series called Strange Academy,
Oh,
which
really?
which is basically Doctor Strange starts a school for mystic youngsters. Now we're
Okay.
talking he pulls in a half fae, some Acer kids, a frost giant, Dormammu, the demon lord's son, Doyle Dormammu, and apparently a half demon named Desi. So Strange Academy, set in New Orleans, so of course they picked the perfect setting for it. And
Nolans.
the final words of issue 1, when the students help him defeat some monster, is soak it all in, have fun, and most of all, try not to die.
Actually, that sounds like something I would enjoy reading.
Yeah. So, if you get a chance, check out Strange Academy. It sounds like, for the most part, after the first issue, this is a great pretense for a game. You could take a D&D group of all arcane folks, put them in a magic school that's being assaulted constantly by the third, fourth dimension, and just throwing it shamelessly out there. That could totally be a starter point for a Urban Shadows or a Fate or a Dresden game. So,
Like that manga Pantheon High, which I would totally love to get the third installment, but you can't get it anywhere.
I know, cannot get it.
But yeah,
Because
Okay.
it's fun having them tweak on the classic myths in a modern way, which is why we love Scion so much.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely check out Strange Academy from Marvel Comics. Because, you're going to want me to pick up the actual hard copy so you can read them.
Yes, please.
Issue 1 came out in May. But, if contact your local comic book store and see if they can send it to you as opposed to going to the store. Because, life. So is there anything else you got to keep it strange?
No.
Will you do something strange for a piece of change? I've been avoiding saying this, so I had to throw it out there. You won't role play for change? I'll run something strange for a soda and change. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's probably a good place to wrap it up there then. For August the 26th, hashtag RPGaDay2020, strange.
Thank you for listening to the Creative Play and Podcast Network, and feel free to enjoy our other shows such as D&D Journey of the 5th Edition and Scion Ragnarok and Roll, a Scion hero to Ragnarok story. Thank you for listening.
And I got that song in my head, the da 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 da.
No,
When you're
I have,
strange.
yeah, now I have that one, but I'm like, strange magic. Doo, strange magic.